$50 smartwatch or a $50 paperweight. Today we're taking a look at the UMIDIGI Urun, a very budget-oriented smartwatch, but it is of course fully featured for around 50 Canadian dollars or around 40 USD. This was the cheapest metal-framed smartwatch I could find on Amazon Prime. It came in a very minimalistic style of packaging, which was pleasant on the eyes. Opening up the packaging, we find the charger, the manual, and of course the watch itself, quite quick and dirty. My last smartwatch was a Pebble Steel, which I've used on and off since I bought it years ago. Compared to that, this smartwatch is much more fully featured and the build quality is on par. This can do all the things my Pebble could do and more. This budget smartwatch has an advertised battery life of 7 to 10 days, although with heavy use I found it to last about 5 days. A little short of that elusive week of battery life we'd like to see, yet at this price point 5 days is quite good. Now, as I said earlier, the build quality is good. The frame is all aluminum alloy. It's using a 1.1 inch TFT color LCD touch display at 240 by 240 resolution, which is quite a good screen resolution for a budget smartwatch and a display at this size. Speaking more about the display, it's vibrant and has good visibility inside or outside in the sun. The two physical buttons feel quality and it doesn't have any cheap wiggling feeling to them. The vibration motor for notifications is a touch lackluster and does feel a touch cheap compared to my Pebble or other brands of smartwatches that I've used, which is quite unfortunate and one of the more annoying downsides. The included rubber wristband for this watch feels quite nice, maybe a touch less soft compared to big brands and my personal preference. It also has a toolless removable pin that allows you to slide to remove the band, and it's quite easy to take off and put back on. But I expect one wrong catch on a door frame, or otherwise it'll just snap off. One of the most unfortunate things with a small Chinese brand like this is that if you want to find a replacement band or another rubber band or a metal one of that, you'll have to look on AliExpress, which they seem to go for around 12 to 20 Canadian dollars. Uses a magnetic charging cable and it is a touch short out of the box, and I don't know if you could find a replacement for that to make it longer, but in my opinion I like USB Type-C and it doesn't use that, but the magnetic charging is convenient and it does snap right into place quite quickly. The app software the watch uses is called PiActive, and it's definitely very far behind almost any of the other major brands or the old Pebble app. It's not very intuitive or seamless, yet once you get it set up for the first time you can link all your health stuff to Google Fit, thankfully, and promptly never use it again except for software updates or GPS tracking. The actual watch OS software is quite clean and simple to use. It has music control, yet unfortunately doesn't show what song you're playing unless you enable all notifications in the PiActive app. Then it will give a notification that will tell you what's playing. And not to mention, it also has a very limited amount of watch faces and you cannot download or make any more. But the 4 it does have are semi-usable and show you the information you need. This is definitely not a highlight compared to other smartwatches that have hundreds of downloadable watch faces so you can have your own style. It seems like something fixable and could be something added down the line in a software update. The touchscreen is quite responsive and it has 2 physical buttons. The top one is bound to go into the menu and turn off on long presses, and the other one takes you into the sport modes. It has an adequate and easy to use do not disturb option to keep you from waking up or disturbing you during a meeting. It has a little hit or miss wake feature when you rotate your wrist and is a touch slow, but it gets the job done most of the time. Moving on to this watch's focus of health tracking. It's got an SpO2 monitor, which is great at this price point. I tested it in a very rudimentary way as it seems to respond to my attempts to hold my breath. It also has a heart rate monitor, which I tested against a Huawei Band 3 Pro, which it seems quite on par with, and it tracks your heart rate 24/7 if you want it to, and you can set alerts to know if you have a high heart rate, which is quite useful for potentially emergency situations or people at risk. It has all the normal sport modes. In fact, it has 17 sport modes, which means all your bases are covered if that's what you're into. It's also IP67 water resistant, which means you can use it while you're swimming, in a pool, or washing your hands, or just taking a shower. It can also do blood pressure, which I cannot be certain is accurate as I have nothing to test it against. It also includes GPS tracking, which in my testing has been pretty good and accurate. It's also something you don't see at this price point, and since it's on all the time, it doesn't hurt the 5 days of heavy use battery life that I experienced. Now, do I think you should buy this? I think the pros completely outweigh the cons of this. This is a fully featured smartwatch, which will typically give you 2 or 3 years of decent experience, and that's the typical upgrade cycle of a lot of smartphones for a lot of people, meaning when you upgrade your smartphone, you could probably also pick up a new smartwatch, potentially bundled with your new smartphone at a lower price. It's fairly well built for a company I've almost never heard of, and has everything most people would ever need in a smartwatch. It also has a couple of different colors and is at a sweet price point. Links in the description down below to pick one up for yourself. I'm BHA Tech Hunter, and have a good day. Today's video was brought to you by us. BHATechStore.com is now live. Make sure to check it out in the description down below. 15% off site-wide right now. The latest tech reviews and now the latest merch designs. BHATechStore.com.